Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Misty Moss and I post videos about boudoir photography, self-portrait photography, and self-love and how to incorporate all of those juicy things together. So today's talk that I want to have is a little bit different than some of my previous videos. A lot of my videos are scripted or at least have some sort of structure and flow to them that I write down beforehand. However, this video I kind of wanted to just come in and talk about a subject that has been really coming to the surface for me lately, and I posted about it to my Instagram stories, and that is just talking openly about a general communal and global sense of loss of parts of ourselves. I wanted to share some of the responses I got on my Instagram story and just kind of talk about what that looks like for us, how to navigate that if that's something that you are going through, and just also normalizing it and talking about it and knowing that if you are experiencing this, you are so not alone. So I hope you guys will stick around. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do like it, don't forget to comment down below something that resonated with you. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, and all of the fun stuff, and let's get into this. I realized my phone was sitting on the edge of the couch for the entire intro. Oh well. So a little bit of context for those of you who are new to the channel or just follow me on YouTube and don't see my Instagram, is that I used to be a burlesque performer. That's how I used to be. I still am. That's how far removed I am from that side of myself, is that I talk about it in the past tense. But I am actively still a burlesque performer. It's how I got into the self-love journey. It's where I started. I have a deep, deep love for that community and a deep, deep adoration for all burlesque. And before the pandemic hit, I was performing a lot. I was performing multiple times a month. I was going to festivals. I was lined up to headline some festivals for the first time that I was super excited about. Like, I was finally making it in burlesque. And then the pandemic hit and none of us performed. All of the venues got closed. We all had to stay at home. And all those layers of collective trauma and grief settled on top of us, and we all felt a shift internally. Personally, I just felt and still feel incredibly disconnected from that creative, sensual, fiery side of myself. So I uncovered some photos deep in my Dropbox folder that I had of some old performance photos, and I looked back and I looked at this woman and I said, who is this? This feels like a me from another lifetime. It doesn't feel like me now. It doesn't feel like this current version of myself. It just felt like I was almost looking at an entirely different person. And I really realized how much I had lost of that part of myself. And so I opened it up to my Instagram and I wrote one of those little question boxes and I just said, hey, what part of yourself do you feel like you lost during this last year that you really wish you could come home to and you could rediscover? And the answers were heartbreaking, but also heartwarming. And it made me really realize that this is a big shift, and it is something that we are all feeling on a deep, deep level, and also something that we're not really talking about openly. At least I haven't really seen this conversation a lot. And I think it's an important one to kind of dive into and kind of hash out and kind of normalize this, so that if you are feeling like this, you kind of realize that it's not just you, it's all of us. We are all feeling a profound loss of self on top of all of the other griefs of the pandemic, which there are many. There's also this internal grief and this internal processing and this internal loss. So I just want to hopefully put this out into the universe, and hopefully it lands where it needs to and makes you feel a little validated in what you're feeling, and know that it's normal and it's okay, and we will get through it. I got a lot of responses back to the question, and I kind of just went through and took some of the ones that were the most common or came up the most and just kind of shared them here. So I'll put them on the screen here. As you can see, there are a lot, and they all kind of stem into a similar vein, which is just a loss of inspiration, a loss of motivation, a loss of creativity, a loss of sensuality. A lot of people were feeling this total loss of that, like, just sensual, feminine not even just feminine, all types of energy, just all sensuality and sexuality just muted, really being able to operate only on a half capacity or a half tank or even less, a loss of joy, a loss of playfulness. This is something that I was really working hard to cultivate before the pandemic, which was tapping into my sacred clown side, which I really loved to play with. And now I feel like I haven't played or clowned with myself in a really long time. So I feel that one. I read that one and I really felt it, this loss of playfulness that we're all kind of feeling. A loss of confidence. A lot of people really came out and said that they weren't feeling confident at all. A loss of feeling like fluid socially and creatively. And this one came up a lot, feeling like a potato or a blob, just really feeling like bleh. And I relate to that. I feel like a potato most of the time. So yeah, if you're feeling like any of these ways or any other sort of way, you're not alone. It's super normal. And I just wanted to speak to that and kind of share my journey of how I'm slowly, very slowly, trying to cultivate those parts of myself that I feel like have been buried and covered in dust for a really long time. And no, I don't expect to come back to them easily. The process in uncovering these parts of myself has already been kind of messy and painful. I very vividly remember the first time I tried to practice performing burlesque post-pandemic, not to an audience, just in my living room. Like I was just trying to like shake off the dust and pretend that an audience was there, and then I was like just moving through this routine that I used to have. And I remember one split second actually feeling connected to that sensual side. And it scared me and shocked me so much, I fell over just crying. I was just weeping uncontrollably. I remember this so vividly because I hadn't felt that way in so long, and it was shocking. I felt like, what is this? Like, what are these feelings? How do I, like, just one split second of that powerful sensation that I get when I'm on stage. And yeah, it just made me really deeply miss it. And it also reminded me how much it is gone in my life. So I've been slowly kind of trying to come back to that sensation. The practices that I've been using to do so are just being very mindful with myself, especially if I'm doing any sort of movement practice. So I do pole, I do aerial hoop, and I dance. So whenever I'm doing those, I spend a lot of time placing my hands on my body, just really trying to be intentional and reconnecting with myself and just like really grounding into myself, even if it fucking sucks, even if it hurts and it feels uncomfortable, like not hurts physically, hurts emotionally. I don't know if that's better. Even if it's uncomfortable and even if it's kind of making me like a little squidgy, I just really put some intention behind it and put on some music that makes me feel really like good and in the mood, whether that mood is being juicy or whether that mood is just being kind of like a little bit slow and gentle and intentional. That's one of the ways I've been trying to come back to those feelings, and it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't work, and that's kind of part of the process. Another way I've been coming back to this, trying to uncover those parts of myself, is through journaling. I like to be pretty open with how much I think journaling is a really powerful tool for self-reflection and for growth. It's been very pivotal in me uncovering parts of myself and ways forward in my journey. So journaling has been really, really pivotal. Meditating, of course, has been really also very important. Same thing, I like to be pretty open about how much I love uncovering parts of myself through meditation, and also how much of a powerful tool it is for reconnecting and for diving a little bit deeper. I used to fight meditation. I hated it so much. I used to go and work with a circus retreat, and part of their core values was that they would meditate every day in the morning, and I never went. And the leader of the retreat would always give me some serious side eye. It became part of a joke with us, but I just hated meditating. And then during COVID, funny enough, is when I started really seriously taking meditation seriously, and it totally shifted a lot of stuff, and now I need it. Like, it is such a fundamental tool in my self-love toolkit. So Even if you really hate it, I promise I hated it more, and you can do it. It sucks at first, but you will get better. And once you learn that you're not really supposed to be silencing your mind, you're really just observing your thoughts and just witnessing the chatter that is going on inside your head. Once you realize that you can just listen and you don't need to be quiet, that's what really changed it for me. I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to not have anything going on. I'm just not supposed to give any of that power or energy. You just kind of like watch it and you're just like, yeah, that's cool. You're thinking about pasta? Neat. And then like just let the other thought come in that's kind of lined up next. They're like clouds in the sky, right? You kind of just like watch them go by. So meditating has been really helping me kind of come back to this, or at least start to cultivate ways back. Another way back to this is eating better. I'm trying to fuel my body with good foods, but also keeping a balance of still treating myself and eating cookies if I want to when I'm having my morning coffee, because cookies are delicious. So just really being intentional while I'm eating and not multitasking. I know that sounds like a weird tip to like get back to your creative side, but the more you're intentional with what you're actively doing, the more you appreciate the present moment. And I think a lot of inspiration and creativity comes from just being really present. The heaviness of the world has made it so that we really want to check out and disassociate and just like scroll TikTok all day. And like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I do that. I love TikTok. But also supplementing that with real moments of intentionality. Is that a word? Being intentional. Something that has been really important in coming back to myself, or attempting to come back to myself, is actually engaging in activities that I used to do pre-COVID, now that they are open again, safely, of course. So some shows have started opening up, burlesque shows, music shows, blah, blah, blah. Of course, there's restrictions and you need to like sit at a table and not mingle. You have to wear a mask. Numbers are like greatly reduced for these events. However, going back to these spaces and seeing my community again and seeing the art that I really love and that I adore has really, really helped kind of put a light at the end of the tunnel and kind of remind me that this art still exists and you can still create it, or you can still bear witness to it. It's not gone. It's just been waiting for you to pick it back up again and to see it again and to engage in it again. So these things inside of us aren't gone. They're not just disappeared. They're just sleeping. They're just napping. They're just kind of having a little hibernation party, waiting for the moment that we're ready to hold them and engage with them again. So if you're not, little ones, it will come back. It is still there waiting for you. At least that is what I have found. It is still, most days I still feel like a blob, but using these tools and doing these little things to be intentional with myself and to make the commitment that, hey, I do want to come home to these parts of myself. It's going to be a long journey, but I'm on board for it. Sign me up. It's a little bit of a pilgrimage to get there. However, it is so worth it. And I believe that if it's something you guys want to get back to, or if you're feeling like there's just a loss of yourself, and even if you're not ready to get back there, but you just want to be seen and know that that's normal and be validated, like, I see you, I feel you, I am with you. I feel a profound loss of self through all of this as well. And yeah, I just wanted to put this out there. It's probably a long, messy video, and if you got this far, thank you so much for being along on the ride while I kind of just talked through the tools that I'm using. Thank you to everybody who shared their experiences on my Instagram story. That really helped a lot, and it resonated with a lot of people. So thank you so much for writing in. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.